What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In the following video, I talk about intermittent fasting. However, I was exhausted when I recorded this video, and throughout the video, I mentioned fasting, sometimes without mentioning that I'm referring to intermittent fasting. So, in the video, it might at times come off like I'm referring to fasting, which is prolonged fasting, not intermittent fasting, where you fast for a predetermined amount of time every day and then you stop your fast and then open your eating window. In the following video, I am not referring in any way, shape, or form to prolonged fasting. I am talking about, prolonged fasting is things like 48-hour water fasts, 3-day water fasts, 7-day fasts. I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to daily intermittent fasting. So I just wanted to get that across because it can come off in this audio clip that comes after this video. It can come across like I'm referring to both, and I'm not. I'm referring to intermittent fasting, and I do this every day. I have for fucking years, right? I go from anywhere. I go for 16 to 23 hours a day. It really depends on what I ate the night before, what I have to get done, you name it. So I'm referring in this video only to intermittent fasting. And with that aside, let's get right into this video. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's windy out here. I'm gonna try to make this one quick, and I'm a little fatigued right now because I ran for I think 50 minutes straight. Or that's not true. I stopped once or twice to take a 1 minute walk. I was really I wasn't as energetic as I normally am when I exercise today. So I know at the 30-minute mark when I was barefoot running, I had to stop for a minute, just walk it out. And I paused my timer, and then when I start running again, I hit the timer back on. But I was thinking about something when I was out there barefoot running, and I often get a beautiful runner's high where I become very clear after about 20 minutes of running barefoot. I was in this endorphin-rich state from the running. And I was thinking about, I don't really talk enough about getting enough calories. And I thought while I was running that, maybe because I talk so heavily about intermittent fasting, people might think I'm promoting a restriction diet. When in fact, guys, intermittent fasting is not restrictive at all. You're just changing your eating window so that you can get the benefit of fasting, which there's many benefits. It can teach you discipline. It can help you get over addictive cravings, because if you can't eat breakfast and you normally have pancakes, see what I'm saying? You can get through it. You can use discipline to get through it. And then as you do that, suddenly the cravings for the pancakes go away. Or if you really want the fucking pancakes, you can have them later on when you break your fast. There's something known as autophagy. I call it autophagy. This is induced through fasting, the abstinence of food. And this is the body's self-recycling, self-maintaining process where you eat up old dead genetic material, DNA gets repaired, collagen gets rebuilt, human growth hormone spikes, something known as neurogenesis takes place. Especially if you're exercising fasted. This is the proliferation of new neurons in the brain. It's like fertilizer. And, I see some people in the health community saying, fasting's bad. Fasting's gonna raise your cortisol and it's gonna chew up your muscles. Fasting will indeed raise cortisol to some extent. But it's not gonna, guys, it's not going to chew up your muscles. You know what's going to chew up your muscles? Improper refeeding. Also, people not lifting weights, not using resistance. You want to build muscle and spare muscle, start resistance training. Use the resistance bands. I like those the best. I think that you can get the most out of resistance bands because you can incorporate resistance in your yoga, in your stretching, and get the most sublime nirvanic exercise through stretching and applying certain resistance to the biceps, the back, etc. while you're fucking stretching. And this directly stimulates Kundalini. Yoga means union. What do you think union is? With God, the one upstairs. So this idea that yoga, for instance, is evil, and I hear this all the time. What a joke. Does that mean weightlifting is evil because you're moving your body and stretching your muscles and applying resistance to them? You see, we've been so fucked mentally, and most people don't even see it. But guys, intermittent fasting, for instance, is not restrictive. In fact, if you fast properly, especially with exercise, you can actually have more calories. I suggest at this point in my life, and it's been like this for years, eat to satiety. Eat when you feel like eating. But if you do that during the day and you don't fast, what you'll find is that if you have your eating window open all the time, you're going to pack on a ton of fat. And on top of that, and that's largely due through excessive blood sugar spikes, but you're not going to get the discipline, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with waiting to eat. In fact, what has 3 fucking meals a day done for the fucking population other than make us fat and sick, overweight, overdrugged, and medicated because of all the autoimmune issues that spawn from all this food and all the crap, all the symptoms people have? And there's a large percentage, folks, of symptoms that are not being credited to their source, which is all the food and the blood sugar spiking and all the processed refined carbohydrates and all the gluten and all the neurodestructive crap that we're eating. Mental health has gone boop into the shitter, has it not? What do you think this is from, guys? Well, there's a handful of reasons, but poor nutrition is a large part of this, because poor nutrition leads to a lack of equilibrium. You're not nourishing your organs, your brain. You know, the thing upstairs that allows you to calculate reality and see through the matrix. What the fuck are you people thinking? This is not rocket science. What are you talking about, Sacred Serpent? You've been promoting intermittent fasting for over 5 years, bro. You're telling people to restrict what they eat. You're telling them that they gotta let go of stuff for the rest of their life. How dare you? You wouldn't do that to an animal if you locked it in a cage. If you gave it too little calories, you'd starve it to death or it'd go insane. You're not restricting, fool. In fact, you're making room for more, right? And you're also healing, because autophagy, again, I call it autophagy, it heals the body. It lets the cells detox, right? The genetic information in the cells, all your organelles. And not only is it detoxing and excreting old dead proteins and garbage from your cells that you can't get out because you're constantly fucking eating, but it's also protective to the cells. It enhances the communication of the cells. Again, neurogenesis. Remember that term? The proliferation, the growth of new neurons, the growth of what's upstairs in the cabeza. Human growth hormone has the tendency to spike if you fast properly, especially if you do resistance and cardio training while fasted. Because if you train hard to exhaustion while fasted, this has to be done right. There's a right and wrong way to do everything. Otherwise, it can become dangerous. But with a little bit of intelligence, you can avoid being a fool, and you can get the maximum results from this. But with resistance training, cardio, walking, barefoot especially, all this, guys, by doing this, you're gonna drive yourself deeper into autophagy by way of chewing up liver glycogen. You're gonna go into autophagy deeper by way of ketone bodies being produced by the liver. You're eating up all your glucose storages, right? Whatever, Sacred Serpent. What the hell was that just moved across the backyard looking like a damn Archon shadow? What are you talking about, Sacred Serpent? It's still restrictive, bro. You're going to make eating disorders. You think eating 3 times a day habitually for over 20 years is not an eating disorder? You see, people seem to think that calorie restriction is the only eating disorder. You don't think that eating all the time, unnecessary foods, breads, pastas, grains that have no nutritional value, you don't think that's an eating disorder? What happened to you people? Where you lost your common sense, and in doing so, lost your damn mind. You got to get your intuition back. So you need some nourishment, don't you? That'd help you get your compass calibrated. My goodness. Fast. Enter autophagy, also known as what I call autophagy. 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 Autophagy Hydrate throughout the day with electrolytes, the proper minerals. Have some coffee if you want it. Hell, if you need to, have some pineapple juice. I do that from time to time if I'm going to go on a really hard run, or if I'm going to exercise or cycle or lift weights. Pineapple juice, sometimes they'll even throw a little creatine in there. Citrulline, get that explosive energy, right? Fast throughout the day. This will also, guys, make it so much more enjoyable. When you eat, you'll appreciate it so much more. It'll taste much better. Oh my God. And it's easier to shut off your hunger hormones when you eat like this. This is an ancestral way of eating. We didn't have food 365 in a fucking fridge for the past 5,000 years. Catch my drift? My God, our ancestors went without constantly. And it's a good thing. It's how we're designed. At times there's scarcity. But another beautiful thing about the fasting process, folks, right, is that it'll actually enhance the shape and size of your stomach and your digestive tract. You see, you got all this crap in your system all the time. You've stretched and ballooned your stomach out so far beyond its normal capacity that no wonder you think you're hungry all the time. You got a big ass deflated balloon in there that needs to be fed every 20 fucking minutes. By fasting, the cells in the skin cells, etc., the tissues inside your digestive tract are slowly going to shrink. That is not a bad thing. They're just going to, through elasticity, rebounding, and regeneration, going to reach their normal size. Pliability and elasticity. Catch my drift? These fools out here are leading us astray. And I see many of these idiots in the health community trying to say that fasting's dangerous. Anything's dangerous without wisdom, without knowledge of how to do it. Some of these people are promoting eating all the time, just massive amounts of sugar, massive amounts of things like maple syrup, massive amounts of carbohydrates, refined, even gluten. You got to lower your stress, bro. Stress is bad, bro. Stress is like the worst thing ever. You want to stay alive for over 200 years? You should never be stressed. That is a stupid, fucking bitch-made way of living. Life is stressful. Life is difficult. Life is hard. You want to try to run away from that? That's what produces the stress. Because that which you run away from is what stalks you. It's what hunts you. You need to face this shit head on. And you can kill a lot of that bitch-madeness by fasting. I'm not trying to sound judgmental, guys, but these people are leading you astray. They're leading you in the wrong direction. You can never have stress in your life. I'm not telling you that stress is some nutrient that we should fucking gorge ourselves on. But a little bit of stress is actually a very good thing. That's how nature works, morons. Without stress, you guys, you lose your mind. Because stress is what motivates you to avoid stress. Do you see what I'm saying? But by never encountering stress, you become this fucking blob. You become a blob. And that's a huge problem. That is a huge problem. I hope that makes sense. So our ancestors went without for very prolonged periods. I'm not saying at times they did starve. We luckily have a reality that's been built. Hopefully it stays around for a while, because everything's going to shit real quick. People take for granted what they have because they don't know how good they have it, because they've never gone without. So by fasting, you can really kind of realize that, holy shit, it gives you a bigger perspective on life, because now your brain can work because you're not constantly digesting foods. Don't you see the simplicity of this? The ancestral simplicity. Where was I going with that? So again, I want to stress about stress. I want to tell you that I'm not saying that we should put ourselves into situations that just constantly keep the cortisol, the stress hormone, cranked, like the tachometer is redlining. That's not what I'm saying. But guys, some of you fucking health gurus out here, you douchebags, act like, I don't mean to say that, excuse me. I'm trying to calm down on this channel a little bit. You guys are making it seem like fasting is like swimming away from a group of hungry sharks in the middle of the Atlantic at midnight. That made me think of this horrible fucking thing that happened recently. And I haven't fact-checked it, and I'm not trying to downplay the reality of it by not saying that it might be fake or whatnot, because stuff like this happens all the time, you guys. Some kid, and he must have been drunk or something, was on like a cruise line, right? I think he was a kid, like a teenager or in early 20s. He must have been drunk, and his friends, apparently his friends, were saying, as a dare, you gotta jump off. Well, he did. And what do you think? The fucking cruise line is these giant boats with these huge motors that are humming. You don't just hit the brakes. That's not how fucking brakes work in the water. It's like a train. You can't just hit the brakes on a train and stop it. It takes sometimes, I think over 50 miles. I could be wrong. I'm not a train expert, but you don't just stop. And this poor soul, you just watch him as the boat and goes away. Right? And he's left in darkness, and all the people are screaming. And you even hear some disgusting, demonic-ass jackals on that boat saying some real nasty things like, bye-bye. People are fucking evil. But, the scary thing is that cruise liners are often surrounded by sharks. They've been habituated. This is what I've read. Again, I'm not a fucking shark expert. But I've read that sharks have been so habituated to the frequency at which cruise liners move through the waters that they've actually learned that they can get a lot of scraps of food and whatnot because a lot of that stuff's thrown over. That's what I've heard. But at the same time, what is a fucking shark gonna eat? A ham sandwich that's thrown over? Who knows? I don't know if it's meat roughage or what, but I've heard that it's common for sharks to surround freights and big cruise liners. So apparently the Coast Guard's looking for him, but you really think they're going to find him? It was it was midnight. I mean, goddamn, that poor soul. Again, this reality's fucking nuts, guys. It's nuts. Bad shit happens to good people all the time, both non-intentionally and intentionally. People do stuff, that ends up killing them. Sometimes to make others laugh or to try to make them, wow. So you know what? A huge part of this channel is about promoting sanity in an insane world. Imagine that, promoting sanity in an absolutely insane world. What do you think fucking Christ meant, the Gnostic Christ, by being in this world and not of it? A lot of you guys, you Christians, and you want to be Gnostics, you're out here fucking integrating with the world. You don't live like Christ. You don't walk like that, or talk like that, or feel like that. You love Satan's kingdom. You love Satan's fucking fast food menu. You love the demonic playground, the devil's playground, Yaldabaoth's fucking pig pen, with the archonic emissaries that sit over this, buzzards over humanity's development and manipulate it. Wow. This is truly an illusionary realm. No amount of words that I can summon right now can express how deep the illusion runs. You have to see it yourself. Only you and you alone, through your alchemy. But how many people want to see the insidiousness of this realm? You can see shades of evil everywhere you look, if you look close enough, but you can also see the good. I think I first heard that quote in some stupid Vin Diesel movie about hunting witches, which was a cool idea, but they ruined the film. Had that dorky guy I'm not even going to get into it. You can see shades of evil everywhere you look. In fact, I suggest watching that movie just to see that scene. And then if you watch it, get back to me and let me know if I was right. There's some good symbolism in that movie. But, we want to... Movies are stupid too, you guys. The more you grow, the more you develop. I haven't watched a movie in years. The more you develop, the more plastic all this stuff is going to seem. It's going to be even difficult for you to get into a movie because you're going to see that it's just a giant fucking stupid Hollywood production. And they don't make movies the way they used to, guys. We got blind ass, dumb fucking directors. This is just a nonsense world because everyone's lost their inner light. The Gnostics talked about this. The spark. Without that spark, the flame doesn't become a fire, and the fire doesn't become a roaring, blazing inferno. You are a spirit bound to flesh, fool. That spirit is like a fire. The more you nourish it and give it what it needs, the bigger it gets, until it becomes an all-consuming flame, anchored in the flesh. Spirit is like fire in a way, an etheric fire. So fasting, guys, people tell me all the time, and I'm not trying to Brando, like how does your mind work as fast as it does? Like your videos, some of the, like you're going real fast and you're making sense. What's going on? Well, fasting. But fasting is only powerful if you have equally powerful and efficacious refeeds. A fast without a proper refeed is a surefire way to slowly destroying yourself. In tandem with that, a fast that is broken with a non-intelligent refeed that, to add insult to injury, also lacks the proper amount of calories for your body to stay in homeostasis. Ridiculous. You're going to break yourself down. And I'm sorry, guys, for most active males, especially over 5'8", 1,500 fucking calories is not enough, especially if it's coming from plant foods. I'm sorry, it's just not enough. I've done that. I've lost in the past significant bone. I've shrunken. But I've also healed that. I know how to grow. You see, I had to go without for a while and learn from being in the ditches, being in the duat, damn it. And now I'm here to deliver a message after seeing both sides of the fence and knowing the middle channel between the two. Yes, fasting's dangerous if done improperly. Anything is. But so is your 3 fucking meals a day of gluten, which destroys your microvilli, your ability to absorb nutrients from your food. Right? So are all the antibiotics that are wiping out your gut microbiome and destroying your colonies of trillions of fucking beneficial bacteria. I mean, again, everyone likes having a dartboard to blame everything on, right? Oh, it's fasting. Oh, it's calorie restriction. Oh, it's this. Oh, what am I saying? That came out wrong. Calorie restriction for temporary periods can be a very good thing, but fasting is not synonymous with calorie restriction, you guys. That's the problem. Many people think it is. Fasting is just you waiting to eat for a period of time, and then you can put all of your calories in at once if you want, or over a period of a few hours or up to 8 hours. I prefer keeping the window shortened or shorter than 8 hours. But this awakens an ancestral memory, you guys. It just does. There's no way around it. I don't know if you can hear Luna. She's going potty. She had to take a particular pain medicine for her foot, and it makes her have pretty wicked diarrhea. I'm sorry, Luna. I don't mean to talk about you. But again, guys, calorie restriction is not synonymous with fasting. Fasting is just you taking a break from food. Or let me rephrase that. Intermittent fasting is not synonymous with calorie restriction. Huge difference, huge verbal slip up, etc. Glad I remembered that so I can throw this in this video. Otherwise, if I wouldn't post this video if I went back and listened to it and I didn't correct myself. Intermittent fasting is not synonymous with calorie restriction because you can refeed yourself properly if you have a brain in your head. And if you refeed yourself properly, I gotta spray this deck off really quick, guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. The beautiful thing about fasting is that, hold on, you're healing yourself. You're giving your body time to heal. Okay, Luna, what are we doing? Taking a break from food gives the body time to regenerate. And then when you do eat, you get more out of it. It is also my personal opinion that the microvilli colonies absorb nutrients far more efficaciously and rapidly when in a fasted state or after you've broken the fast. Hope that makes sense. You guys, unfortunately, I do need to get going. I got to take care of this little situation here. May peace be with you.